Hi, I have been doing like deep dives on, well, on my timeline. I watched something about the wrestler Chris Benoit and his family's death and all that, you know, popped up on my timeline. And then, all these other videos pop up on my timeline, on my algorithm. And I used to watch wrestling back in the day with all the characters. I used to watch the WCW with Ric Flair and all of the guys, Lex Luger and few other Four Horsemen. I used to watch all those guys. Um, I was more, I liked watching those more than the WWF. I mean, I would watch the WWF, but I wasn't really a fan. I mean, I liked WWF because they had the Hart Foundation, with Bret the Hitman Hart. I was fans of them. I also watched the one, this is Bret Hart's documentary, and that popped up on my timeline too. Sad about that too. So and also sad about Chris Benoit. It was very tragic about him and supposedly he deleted himself and deleted his family and all that. It's very sad. And the son with special needs. It was so sad. I remember that happening. It's tragic. So it's just since I've watched it, I've been having all these other wrestlers and everything, and these other wrestlers that have died during this time, like Ravishing Rick Rude has passed away. Mr. Perfect passed away. Mr. Wonderful passed away, which, Mr. Wonderful was one of the older guys, but, all of them have passed away. And I know Mr. Wonderful, I think he he had so much injuries and he had gotten dementia. And then the sad thing about Mr. Wonderful's situation was that he fell on hard times and the organization didn't even help him. He was at some nursing home facility and they were mistreating him. So his son had advocated, no, I rather to take care of my dad at home, and everything. So they moved him to the son moved him to their house, and they had 24-hour care for him, and they took care of him and stuff. And his son advocates for the wrestlers that have CTE and all that, which that's great, because when he died, he wanted them to do studies on his brain and how it affected him. And all the bumps and bruises and stuff that those poor wrestlers go through, it's kind of similar to football, And I just noticed that a lot of them have died. Even Hulk Hogan died last year. He had health issues. I'm not a fan of Hulk Hogan, but he had had some kind of operation, and he was recovering from it, and he was going through rehab and at home, and now things are coming up about his death that's kind of shaky. And I'm just saying this to say that the powers that be for these poor wrestlers don't take care of their wrestling. The wrestlers. And I know that when I watched the documentary on the McMahon family, that Jesse the Body Ventura was talking about unionizing the wrestlers so they can have a pension plan like the football players do, which I feel that's great what that he was trying to do, even though I don't agree with his politics. But what Jesse the Body was doing was great because these wrestlers need to be taken care of. You know, they're having illnesses, they having, you know, maybe the CTE, whatever they're doing, they're having health issues because of all the injuries that they've had. And even I was looking at Bret the Hitman Hart's documentary. One time he was still wrestling well into his 40s, and they come to find out that his brain is like mush in the back, you know, and he had to stop. He's had strokes, he's had things. His poor brother was doing a stunt at Owen and gotten killed over it, and the family, the wife wanted to sue because things weren't set up right where he could have the thing to be straightened up for him, and he falls and right on his head. And the wife was like, I need to have money. You didn't have things set up the right way where he could have been where he died, you know. So of course she didn't win, and the poor family, the Hart family, is divided because of this. Like right now, like I know in the documentary they couldn't show Owen because the wife doesn't want to have him in the doc, and a few documentaries that they did on Bret Hart. So it's like there's something wrong in the buttermilk that these wrestlers are all dead, and they are not being taken care of. Their families are not being taken care of, and they, you know, like I was looking at the Big Boss Man, you know, he died. He had a lot of injuries, but he's a, you know, being, you know, big guy, and he had heart issues, but, you know, he died of a heart attack. But it's like, you have to find a way to take care of these people. At least with the football league, they do have pensions. They do have a pension. Like, why don't the wrestlers have pension? You know? And that's something that my ex-husband and whoever, which I call him, The Rock, need to really push for them to have pensions. Because at least with him, he has this acting guild, so he has a pension coming. A lot of those other people do not have acting. They're acting pensions, you know. And it's just sad. I mean, I don't know. I just noticing that, and I just feel that's just so wrong, because those men get beat up, you know. Because I remember Jesse the Body Ventura had talked to Art Shell, who is very active in the Football Leagues Union, and, you know, like, and he said to him, you all need to have union, you all need to have pension, because you all get beat up, and this is not good, you know. So I'm just been doing, since that thing popped up there, and Bret Hart and his family, his dad was a wrestler, and they had a wrestling dynasty, but his dad ran a wrestling team, and he got screwed out of his money, because from the McMahons, and basically they died struggling. He died, and Bret Hart is going through a lot right now. Health issues, family, finances right now, and he's going through things too, financially. And he can't wrestle anymore. He's almost 70. So, like, I don't know what their dynasty, do the sons wrestle or whatever, or do he manage his sons? I know that his first wife was like, they went through a lot, and she was like, when they divorced, it was like she got tired of the wrestling thing, and I think he's married two times. He's on his third marriage. I guess he's with his third wife now. I don't know. But it's like they need to advocate for these wrestlers. It's really ridiculous. I don't know. I just feel that that's so wrong. I just thought I would put that on there. Um, I like to put things that are on my mind. I don't know. I mean, be honest with, I've been putting things on YouTube, and I don't really get the traction that I do. Nobody comes on my YouTube page. But some things I want to talk about and put on there and see, and see if people will listen. But anyway, you all have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and have a blessed day. All right, bye.